It's a privilege to have you as a daughter.
Is it?
Yes.
For real? Don't forget to add any razzle dazzle about me as your daughter and how amazing I've been as a little
Human being.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the JCON podcast. I am your host, Kandace Ferrel, and welcome back to the show. We are on episode 8, and today is a very special day for me. I want to introduce to you the woman who taught me everything about Jesus, taught me everything about music, and who birthed me, my mother, Mechel Ferrel.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Finally.
Yeah. Finally.
I think I'm number 7.
This is
8.
Episode 8.
Oh, I birthed you, but I had to take a little step back.
What do you mean?
From being part of the
JCON experience?
Yeah.
My mom and I have a very special relationship. So today I'm excited to have my mom here with me. Like I said, she is the one who the reason why I wanted to be in the music industry and to sing in the first place, because when I was just a little baby, my mom was leading worship at church, and she also had an album out. We never talk about it.
Never say those words.
So just watching my mom kind of do the music thing, I think I was just naturally thrown into, oh, I want to be a singer. Oh, I want to be a superstar because I watched you do it. Yeah. So would you like to share some of your story?
Well, about worship? Well, I started singing when...
Yeah, whatever. Your testimony.
Well, I remember... Well, I became a Christian very young.
Yeah.
Like, raised Catholic, but 14, invited Jesus in to be my personal Lord and Savior. And then I was living with my grandmother, and I remember sitting on my bed in my room, Indian style, and just worship. Nobody was home. I was just worshiping in the dark and just crying out to the Lord. And I just remember that night in particular that he set song in me, and the Holy Spirit just came in like a flood. And I just remember just having this joy that came up in me. I remember that being my defining moment for music. But then when I was dating your dad, we'd be driving, and he would always sing a song and say, I want you to harmonize to me. So he would it was this one song always. It was, my peace I give unto you. And he'd say, harmonize with me. He would go on.
My peace.
And then he'd say, my love I give unto you. It's a love that the world cannot understand. Anyway, so he really kind of gave me an ear for harmonizing. And he would go through all that same song, that same phrase, but change the word on it. And those were fun times.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
Yeah. Then when I was pregnant with you, we were always involved in church. But I remember, because you were born in 87, and that's kind of when I started like really singing in the church.
Oh, wow.
In the high school ministry first we started.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the main heard of me, or
the main church.
In the main church, they heard of me and then came and asked me to like get involved with worship on the team.
What church was that?
And you were little, you were a baby then.
Chino Valley.
That was Calvary Chapel, Ontario.
What?
A little tiny church in Ontario, first, which later became Calvary Chapel, Chino Valley.
Oh, okay.
And I served on the team for 13 years then there. But
that's a long time.
And that's so in the late 80s, early 90s. And we're in 2025.
Did you have black hair back then?
I had dark brunette.
Like mine.
Yeah, like you.
She looks like me.
Yeah. I'm trying to go a little bit darker in the root again, because I'm a brunette.
It looks good.
But when people get old, they think they're gray. So blonde. So go blonde. But I don't know. So yeah.
I think you would look good as a as a gray silver fox, or is that only
Well,
men?
People have asked me or told me that, and I'm tempted. I'm just not ready yet.
Not yet.
Not ready
I
yet.
don't think yet. Maybe when you're like 80.
I know I should cut these locks too, but anyway, that's and then I was led worship or served on teams in various churches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite time of worship at a certain church? Or is it all different?
Yeah. Is it hot in here?
Are you hot?
Why did you close those windows? Cottonwood was really fun.
I knew you were going to say Cottonwood.
And the reason is because I took a break from all music for other reasons we won't talk about today. But
yeah.
And that's kind of when you started in music and writing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took a back seat to it and lived a more quiet life and just supported you in your music and travel, Nashville, LA, carry your equipment everywhere and help you. But then when I went back, it was Cottonwood. And I really felt that the Lord did a really, really great healing through Pastor Bayless there. And I really felt freedom again to be myself and did not live with pain and bitterness or anything that was trying to cloud my life at the time. And then I jumped right in on the team, and it was a great 10 years or so there. It was fun. And then went to amazing conferences and just really fill my life with, the knowing and the loving of worship again.
Yeah.
Then
it's
in the public, I guess.
It's crazy and funny to me that I used to lead worship or sing on the worship team when I was younger. And then a couple times I don't remember the church in like Riverside or something that I would go and lead worship with like Brittany Murakami, maybe. You remember that?
Gosh, well, Harvest
kind of like a
Harvest Fellowship had you a couple of times for
the kids,
different events. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so I think that's what I have in my head. Because it was like the main church, and then I remember it like went up, and then it was like okay. So I did that for a while, and then I wanted to be a superstar. But the whole way throughout my journey of wanting to become this famous artist, which you and Dad supported, but the whole time you would always tell me, you should sing worship. You and Dad, you need to be singing worship, sing worship in the church. And I would tell you, I don't know how I would say it exactly.
Well, you would say, I would try, I try to write worship songs and I just can't. I don't know. I just feel like it's not in me. Or
yeah, I was like, that's your journey. That you're called. That's what I said. You're called to be a worship leader and sing in the church. I'm called to sing in the world. That's how I felt. And I just did not want to sing worship at all. I would almost get irritated at you for saying it so many times. I'm like, okay, I heard you. I'm not going to sing at church. I'm too busy. And it was really in my heart that I just did not want to sing at church.
Well, God was building your testimony in you, and you had your own journey to go. Like our kids don't grow up and walk our walk. They walk their own walk, and it looks different for everybody. So, but regarding your dad and I supporting whatever you kids were good at and what you loved, we did support you, and we had a lot of kickback from that from other people.
What do you mean?
In the family, not wanting us to support your, music career.
Like who? I mean, you have to give any names.
Yeah, we won't give names.
But is it like my sister and my brother?
No.
Oh, other people?
But, we just really strongly felt that, well, first of all, your dad is a, landscape pool contractor, and he's always loved his work. He loves what he does. He gets up every morning and he loves going to work.
Yeah.
So he knew that that was important for our kids. You know, you need to love what you do. So you want to get up and go and
so
and
it's not
provide
work
for the family. Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work.
And I always felt as a parent, like with kids and growing kids and teenagers, that to support you, even as you, to support you and to be a part of all your decision making, and like even friends you guys would bring home or choose. Just ask questions. I would always ask a lot of questions, like, what do you see in that person? Like, why do you think that is a good friend? Because even friends I didn't want you to have, you know, but, or Lauren, or let's say any of you guys, but, I just think it's really important as kids grow up, that because you become your own adult. And I don't think kids need to be parented anymore. I think they just need to be maybe guided by, you know, suggestion or conversations of asking lots of questions. And let you come to your own final destination of your choices. So
great movie.
So I think that you did really well though in the industry. Like you, I still believe that God can use you in majorly big ways, you know, because that's who he made you to be, you know.
Just the fact that I'm completely opposite than what we were just talking about. Me, I don't want to sing I don't want to sing worship music. It's just not my calling. I'm going to sing in the world as a Christian, singing in the world, but not about Jesus. And now I'm like completely opposite. I do think that there's a lot of Christians who can be in the world and sing secular music, but be a light in the world. But unfortunately, that wasn't really me because of the lyrics I decided to write when I was writing for like Doja Cat and, you know, Lil Wayne, and sex sells in LA. And when you're in these rooms with these big music execs and music producers and other writers, you kind of have to, you know, working with the artists that I was working with,
become part of their world.
You have to
be cool, or
because they're not going to use your lyrics. You're not going to be asked back if you're not singing and writing raunchy music.
Right.
I mean, unless I was working with like Jason Derulo. Working with Jason was different because we wrote real songs about love. And, you know, it wasn't, you know, shaking your butt in the club or whatever, you know? So I think I, you know, was a light in those situations, but because I was working with so many very, very worldly people, you know, your light gets dimmed by when you're surrounded by darkness, your light shines. It could shine a little bit, but it's not shining the way it could if you're putting Jesus first. And I wasn't putting Jesus first, even though I love Jesus and I would talk about him. But, you know, I'd be like drinking all the time at clubs, staying up till 9 a.m, smoking, you know, hanging out with, you know, you are who you hang out with. You are who you
and
hang
I think
out with.
that, I mean, for those reasons, I think that probably wasn't very wise of Dad and I to like still just like root you on and support you, you know, because our mission in life as Christians is when you become born again, then, you know, our mission on earth is really just to share the gospel and to love God and love people. Right. And so, and just gleaning always from his word and,
it's a good word.
And living a life that's just really honorable to him. But, so maybe I have a little bit of regret that I didn't really try to argue, but I do also feel like when you try to control your kids and try to pull them in a direction, they do the opposite. They'll go anywhere, or they'll go worse, or they'll go deeper. Like I won't mention her name, but a family member that was so strict on her kids that when they were 18, they just went, I mean, way deep. And so I was always grateful that Dad and I always kept really open tabs and open communication with you kids and let you kind of just fly a little bit. You never really, none of you really did anything hard, or God always protected you, all of you from.
Yeah, he did. I don't think that you should feel regret at all, especially because you really didn't know what I was up to. I mean, you're my mom, so you probably.
Well, the one thing before that is we never were parents before, right?
Yeah.
You don't know how to, you have a baby and then you're just raising and you're trying to be the best parent. We all, based off like how I was raised maybe. And that's why there's just, I don't know, but do the best you can.
Yeah. I feel like I hid a lot of stuff from you and Dad. I kind of feel like Jessica knew Lauren. I guess I kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of hid everything from you guys, but in some situations, like I would call my brother, or in some situations I would call Jessica. But yeah, God definitely was protecting.
But it's nice that he brought you back.
Yes.
It's been
I'm happy to be back.
These past years have been like really refreshing and amazing to watch you in your running in your lane, which is very important for all of us to run in our lane, in our own lane. I think, you can't be somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people like look at us, or we look at others and we go, oh, we want to be like them, or, but we need to stay in our own lane.
Yeah.
And run in our own purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's where you will shine. That's where you're most effective for God, is in your own strength, your own talents, gifting that God's put in you as an individual.
Yeah. Yeah, my own lane. I don't really watch any or listen to any podcast, but I wanted to start my own podcast. And I have, some of my friends will send me certain episodes or clips from other people's podcasts. And it's hard for me to even click on it because I don't want to compare. Because I don't really know, I've never done this before, but I don't really want to compare or try to be like this girl, Emmy Moore. I know her because she pops up on my page, but I just really try not to watch too many clips of things because I don't want to, they're doing it this way. I should do it that way. Or look at what they're wearing, or they have the microphones, or maybe I should get the microphones, so I'm just.
Yeah, you want to be super authentic.
I want to be authentic. I want to talk about things that are me, and just kind of let the Holy Spirit just like lead and speak through me. And because, I had to step out in faith to be where I am today.
Yeah.
And it's scary to do that when you don't really know, what's on the other side of like the unknown. You just kind of like walk hand in hand with Jesus and just ask for his will to be done. And you just don't even know what it is. I still don't even know what it is. Who knows? Am I going to sing? Am I going to be a talk show host?
Yeah, like I'm living on 10 acres and the plan was to build a house, but we're going on 4 years and the ground's not broken yet.
The unknown.
But that's why you hold things like this and not like this. Like, I got to have it my way, and I got to have that house, and I got to have that. No, you're just like, I would love to have that Mercedes or that big house, but you just go with the flow, and you just be content.
You do have a Mercedes.
I know I do, but I don't have the house. But be content in all things. Is great game.
So, yes. I was just thinking about this. It's so funny that you said this because I was thinking about when we worship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't worship like this.
Yeah.
Okay. We worship with our hands open.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like as a symbol, sacrifice, a surrender.
A surrender. Mm-hmm.
You know, you surrender everything just to worship.
Yeah.
You give it all to God. Isn't that insane how we like literally do? And you know what? I was noticing at church the other day. I wasn't sitting with you and Dad. I sat on the left side of church with Janice and Dennis.
Yeah, I saw you.
And the sound was great over there.
Oh.
From that seat.
Oh, okay.
It was really, I was like, oh, this sounds good.
So
I noticed that typically when I worship, when I'm just worshiping the Lord, I have my arms, and sometimes it's because, you know, I'm a little hot and sweaty, but I'll have my arms like tucked in and my hands out like this. Okay. And I was thinking, I wonder why I feel like I'm holding my hand, like almost like I'm like holding something back. Like, like kind of like when you put like a book or something under your, and then you're like holding it tight. And I'm like, so I kind of did like this. I did a little bit out. Yeah, yeah. You know, you know, they call it like,
and it felt better.
Yeah, it just felt like free. Yeah, more free.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're really getting into it. Like, this is the best right here.
Yeah.
But I'm very self-conscious of my armpits and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about how we don't, you know, we're not worshiping like this. Because if you were to worship like that, you're holding on to, it's not true worship. Worship is sacrifice. It's, you know, surrendering and giving everything, your whole life.
Right.
Your words, your temper, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually wanted to kind of talk about worship today because we're both in worship. And you've always been in worship, and I was in worship, and then I wasn't in worship, and now I'm in worship. So I just like wrote a couple things down. But just right off the bat, we were designed to worship. Okay. The Lord created everything, heaven, or he created everything.
And that's not singing, that's just worship. That's everything that who we are and what we do in life.
Yeah.
Is worship to
that is what
the Lord, right?
That's what we're going to be talking about today.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, we're made to worship. We're not made to go to our 9 to 5 and like, you know, some people say, I mean, obviously we have to work, but I mean, you don't have to work. She's never worked a day in her life. I used to work at McDonald's.
That was my very first job, McDonald's.
Your first and only?
Yeah. No, and then I had a job selling skincare.
That's right.
For Karen McCarter.
That's right.
For a short time.
Karen McCarter.
And then I had all these women underneath me, and I was like, no, I want to just be a mom. But Dad has blessed me with allowing me to
spend his money
to provide. Well, you know what? Life is like this, right? In relationships and in finances. I mean, if we just chose to have one income, and whether we were poor or rich, we just, that's what we chose to do. We didn't have the boats and all that, but Dad worked very hard, and he provided a really nice life for us, as he still is, and he's turning 69.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am fortunate that I didn't have to. He always felt it was important for me to stay in ministry. So I didn't have to be, and I homeschooled your kids and
you were a mom.
An at-home mom. Yeah.
And I pray for a husband who wants me to stay in ministry and doesn't want me to go to work. So if you're out there.
Yeah. Well, you have favor. So just let your request be known.
Lord, I don't want to work a 9 to 5.
But you've been blessed. You've been blessed with good work.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the best work. Yeah. So we are made to worship. We're designed to worship. Even the trees, the plants.
Clap their hands.
No, even just
The
like
trees.
yeah, they're literally everything worships.
Yes.
The birds. When I get woken up by the birds, or we go to sleep to the frogs, sounds like we're like living in Louisiana.
Yes.
I listen to the birds, especially when the sun comes up. That's when they wake up.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny to me. The nighttime will be like, you'll hear the frogs, but then it'll be like just like quiet. And then once that sun starts popping up,
yeah,
and then just like thousands of birds.
Yeah, I know.
And
we have the most beautiful birds on our property.
We do.
Amazing.
We do.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I hear the birds chirping, actually, when I was in the jacuzzi the other day before you came in, she's sitting out there, and I was like, okay, God, I want to hear your voice. Like, speak to me. I want to hear it. Okay. Some people get to hear the tangible, the whisper, the whatever. I want to be one of those people. And I'm sitting there, and all I can hear are the birds. And I could see the blue bird and the yellow bird.
And he's saying, here I am. This is me.
Literally. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I said, I said, I know I can't see you. Okay. He's like invisible. He's just, so if I can just hear you, and I just close my eyes, and then this bird was like, and they like were dancing around. And I was like, okay, I see you.
I think we hear him in the promptings in our within us. I think that because we live in this world and we're human, we miss a lot of his voice because we're busy with our own agenda, or it's loud and we're noisy, but I think that God speaks to us a lot. We just have to catch it, and go, be more.
Yeah. And we have to, he meets us in the secret place, in our quiet time. He meets us anywhere. He met me at the hip hop concert. But it's just funny. I was like, okay, I hear you in the birds. Yeah. So I mean, we're designed to worship. And if we're not worshiping God, we're designed to worship. So you're either worshiping the Lord,
right,
or you're worshiping self, fame, success, the devil. Some people literally worship the devil. But
I can clearly see my life as a young girl. And it could even be through the relationship with my grandparents. Mostly I was very close to them, but I can see how God just, like, I feel so chosen and picked by him at such a young age, even before I accepted him as my personal Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
But I feel handpicked by the Lord, and then just given the gift of song and the voice and the ear,
Yeah.
And so
I love how
it's been very rewarding to live in that presence of God. And yeah.
So, if you were to ask, if you were to ask just a regular Joe Schmo, what is worship? Let's just say you ask like a non-believer. They're like, oh, it's like at Christian music or what they sing at church or whatever. But worship is more than just a 30-minute set on Sunday mornings.
Right.
It's more than just a 30-minute set on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
It's, a posture of life, like how you were saying. It's how you live your life. That is true worship.
Right.
And it says, actually, do you want to read it? Romans 12:1. Oh,
sorry.
Romans 12:1.
I will get my glasses.
Okay. Oh, did I tell you that Erin let me use her glasses when I was sewing and I could actually see?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no.
You're getting older now.
I'm getting older.
So Romans 12:1 says, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Very good.
So it just makes me think like obedience, right? Obeying the Lord and, following him into the unknown is also worship. Like me going from the world.
Takes great faith.
Yeah. To meeting Jesus at the hip hop concert, to me obeying, okay, I need to change my life and making those changes. That is worship as well. And we see, I actually looked up last night, the very first time the Bible says worship in the Bible, the very first worship in the Bible is not, it doesn't come with singing. It doesn't come with instrumentation or no trumpets, no harps, no choir. It's in Genesis 22 when the Lord tells Abraham to sacrifice his son.
Yeah.
And he says, you stay over here with the donkey and we'll go over here and worship the Lord. I'm actually just I'm going to pull it up. But that is true worship, to hear what the Lord is saying and obey it.
Yeah.
And surrendering everything, surrendering your whole life and saying, okay, God, I hear you.
Surrendering your plan for his plan.
Here I am. Yeah. Here I am. That is worship. Worship
Here
is,
I am, send me.
Yeah. So, and Abraham said to his young men, stay here with the donkey. The lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back to you. So Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac, his son. And he took the fire in his hand and the knife, and the two of them went on together. So
it's crazy, right?
That is like,
wow.
That makes me cry because here's like 100-year-old man and his only son who he loves so dearly. And God's like, you're going to take him to a place that I'm going to show you, and you're going to sacrifice your son.
Well, good thing he was listening to God, right? Because he said, stop. No, that's not what I mean.
Yeah. Well, no,
you don't have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he did mean that, but he saw that
his heart.
He saw that he was
willing.
faithful.
Yes.
He was faithful, and he was obedient to the Lord. He didn't say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy.
And we have a loving God. It was a test, probably, because we have a loving God that we're his workmanship. He's not a God that wants to kill us or kill our children or kill our babies. No. So, but it was a test of, Yeah,
and he tests us a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, if you don't want to get tested, no. If you want to get tested, get married. Marriage is hard. Very hard.
That'll be it for another time.
And I married the best guy.
Yeah.
Well, he married the best girl. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But marriage is really just a real sacrifice of self.
Yeah.
And So if you want to be tested, get married.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
He'll really get that sandpaper on you.
Ugh. Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, it does. So I also wanted to read in John 4:23. It says, "The hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth." Okay.
Yeah.
So if he's spirit, okay, which he is, you have to, in order to truly worship, you have to be led by the Spirit.
Yeah.
To worship.
Yes.
Not performance or your ability to, you know, and this goes back to like worship, like in the church, you know, just because you have a great voice or you play like classical piano doesn't mean that like you're truly worshiping the Lord.
Or called.
Or called to.
Right.
Yeah. It's not about performance. It's not about performance, but it is about your favorite word.
Excellence.
Excellence.
I love excellence.
Yes.
Because we don't want to be a distraction to the worshipers, the congregations or the people. You don't want to be a distraction. And if you're not excellent, you are going to be a distraction, you know, whether you look nervous on stage or you're worried or, you know, you just want to be invisible and be a bridge so the people can get to God and not, you know, focused on you.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared. You have to be gifted. You have to be excellent because God is excellent. God is God, and
yeah, he's more than excellent.
He made us a masterpiece, you know. And there's a lot of good people that want to sing or can play, dabble, but you know, just everybody can't. Everybody's not called. There's a phrase about that. Everybody. I don't remember what it is.
Many are called and few are chosen.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's important to want to give God your best and to bring excellence. But there are certain times too where I'll be at churches and sometimes like the music's not that great, but the Holy Spirit is still working through that person because of their heart posture and their worship.
I will take heart over perfection anytime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
moldable.
I love an amazing, flawless worship set because, you know, I grew up in the music industry and like I love excellence and I love it when it's just perfect and amazing and you can just you know, but it's all about the heart posture. So you can be fabulous.
Yeah.
And your heart posture is not right. It's just not gonna the Lord's not gonna,
it's not gonna flow.
He's not gonna move as strongly. But yeah, so in spirit, led by the Spirit, not just like ability or performance, and then truth. The songs in which we sing when it comes to worship in a church, they have to be true. They need to be the truth.
That's why I love singing songs that we are singing to God, right? And not so much just a story about God. Like for me, worship is really connecting about who God is. And I love songs that like honor the Father and the Almighty. And I love that. More than singing songs that tell a story about me or songs that are like, I want to grow closer to you or I want to whatever. I love it more when it's the opposite and it's like, who God is,
Yeah.
and his majesty, and
Yeah. Truth. I think that just means that the truth about who God is, here,
yeah, right.
So, yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. I was reading about that last night. Okay,
Nice.
I know you know this.
Nice.
But I'm going to say it again.
What?
We were so designed to worship the Lord. That's how he designed it. Okay. That even if you don't believe in Jesus Christ of Nazareth, you don't believe in God, your breath is still honoring and worshiping the Lord. Do you know this about Yahweh?
And say that again?
Okay. When you take a breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's literally Yahweh. When you breathe in.
I didn't know that.
So even every breath that you take, since you pop out of the womb and take your first breath, you're already praising the Lord.
Nice.
You're already praising the
Love
Lord.
that.
And when you die, what is the last thing you do when you die?
I don't know, gurgle?
No, you take a breath. You take your last breath. Even your last breath.
Yeah.
Is.
I've never watched anybody die.
Yes, you have. Didn't you, Jessica, see some guy keel over in the doctor's office or something?
No. Oh, when Jessica was a little girl, we were in the doctor's office, and this old man came in for his yearly checkup and went in and came back and sat down and paid his bill and stood up and just.
At least he paid his bill.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
That's sad. Yeah. You've never heard that about Yahweh? Oh, wow. Yeah, I just think that.
I learned things from you.
Wow.
Now that you're a woman of God.
Yeah, I just think it's so cool. God is so intentional. And I'll have to do a whole podcast about God being intentional. And, I looked up each book of the Bible in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And the story.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Literally mind-blowing.
I mean, I heard you sharing it with Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a little bit of revelation for 2 books, but I'm so close to just having my mind completely blown, which I love. So, anyways, okay. Let me check this really quick. So let's go back to you and Dad. You want to tell us anything about how long you guys been married? You have 3 children. I'm your favorite.
We've been married 43 years, or it's going to be 43 years in August.
August 20th, Rocky's birthday.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome? It's so cool.
Yeah.
And out of the 3 children,
I have no favorites. You're each my favorite.
Oh, that's so
Lauren
precious.
would not think that. He thinks all my time and attention, Dad and I, was on you girls.
Well, we're girls.
Dad and I went through a hard time in our marriage at a really fragile age of where you kids were age-wise. And so I think Lauren relives a lot of that because I don't even remember those days.
Well,
I don't remember how I survived. And so I do probably think he was neglected. I'm thinking.
Well, he's a middle child.
I was always crying in the room,
boy.
not the present mom that I just couldn't shake it those years. I just felt super depressed. So, which I'm ashamed of as a Christian woman. I just wished, gosh, I had walked with the Lord, but I just think was in shock of this life I was being forced to walk out and to survive and to heal from. And but God met us on the other side, and that really made us a closer family, I think. And
he was laying right next to you when you couldn't get out of bed. He never left.
Mm-hmm. I remember you wrote your first song, because our walls touched, and you could hear me crying every night, you said. Mm-hmm. And then your very first song you wrote was about a flower that died in a garden. And you said, "That's you. You were the flower." And I was like, ah. But how sad to.
That is really
sad.
That
was yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
now here,
you're revived.
So 43 years later, I milk cows daily.
Yeah,
I don't know if your listeners know that, but
I don't think
I have Jersey A2 cows that are beautiful. We have 5 cows, all A2. I milk every day. My hands were starting to bother me, but I don't know if you know this, but Dad and I started taking ivermectin. Oh, the horse kind. Oh, we put a little dab right here, and every night we take it. What? And I have no pain in my.
You lick it?
Yeah, it's very healing. It cures most all disease. It kills parasites. I feel like some of that. I feel like my eyesight is changing. I feel like it's clear or something. And I woke up this morning and I didn't because I don't know. So I think
I need some.
Everybody should take it. We all have bugs in us, everyone. And I'm around cows and dogs and cats and all of it, right? So daily, all day long with manure and stuff. So yeah, so we take that now.
I'm pretty proud of you.
With the cows?
With the cows.
Well, it is overwhelming, I gotta say. I do wish I have other cow friends that they have all the help in the world for free. They have helpers that just for milk. Yeah. And I just have had the hardest time finding, after Danielle, because I had Danielle and she was like my cow share girl and just like me, but younger and just was amazing. Yeah. And she has her own cow on her own property now. So it's been hard, but I just love it. I do love it. Sometimes I think, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but my customers love the milk. And
you get up, you have your whole routine down. You get up, you go and muck their cow manure. And then you let the chickens out sometimes, and then you feed them a little bit, and then you come back inside, you make your coffee, you do your devotional.
And then I go back.
And then you go outside.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's my chores.
Yeah.
I don't make plans with people in the morning for breakfast or in the evening for dinner most times because that's my job.
That is your job.
And I sell milk. Yeah. Which my mother loves that I'm kind of made a business for myself, and that was not my plan. My plan was to breed Jersey cows and raise milk cows for homesteaders in our area. But it's all overwhelming. Every turn is a learning curve for me. So I never wanted to be in the milk business, but what are you going to do with all this milk? And it pays for their feed. And at this point now, when Margot's in milk, also it's Babette and Margot for those listening, and Millie and Bourbon and Bo. Yeah. So
Bourbon and Bo are brothers, right?
No,
stepbrothers. Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yeah. Margot is his mom.
Yes.
And Bourbon is Margot's son. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stepbros. Stepbrothers. Oh, I love them.
So anyway, so now that Margot's in milk, I'll be able to make a profit. Yeah. Somewhat, but I still don't want to really be in the milk business. I just want to get that house built so I can be on solid ground and a real shower and wash my hair. But you know what? We pull it off this way.
And we look great doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we look crazy on the farm,
We
but
do.
when we go places, people can't even tell that we live this life on a farm.
I know.
On the funny farm. No, Ferrel, Jersey Estates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Lord is, obviously
He has a plan.
Yeah, he's guiding us and
Mm-hmm.
guiding you and Dad. You didn't just come out here for no reason.
Yeah, COVID came, right? And I wanted to get out of the city and grow my own food and this. And so, and Pastor Bayless's wife, Janet, always said, you need to go on an adventure. She always wanted me to go move by the church. And that always stuck in my head because I was thinking, oh no, we'll go towards retirement and have our house paid and have the condo in Mexico and then build a cabin and the cars are in the garage. But life was getting kind of boring, So this change, selling the house sold in a day, I think. It sold so fast.
A couple days, yeah.
And then we just found ourselves up here on the Central Coast and on 10 acres. And we wanted 100 acres. Because our goal was to have us all have a family compound, but and that still is a beautiful goal. But we ended up with 10 acres because we thought, well, if you guys chose not to be there, then it's something Dad and I could handle on our own.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's why, and we have a beautiful garden and growing food and drinking milk and eating chicken eggs and.
Soon we'll be making our own wine with the grapes.
That would be fun too.
I mean, I'm sure it's hard. It's not like you just stomp on them.
No.
Yeah. But we have a lot of friends in all these industries that we can learn whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, why did you decide to do this now? Because,
yeah.
Usually when you get our age, your downside.
83.
I'm 83. 63.
People still think you're my sister.
63.
I almost wore my blonde wig today. Been like, hi, I'm Michelle.
Oh, that'd be cute. You looked good as a blonde. Remember you were blonde, bleached blonde hair with a dark root? That was so pretty.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
I looked more like you. But now I look like you, how you originally look. Your dark, big hair. We never talk about it. You had, and I feel like when you were singing, when you made that album with Jeffrey David and you were singing those songs, remember the lime green? You had a show or something?
The chair.
Oh, it was a lime green chair?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was like an outfit. Oh, no.
I had leather.
I have that
color.
I have that.
Yeah.
I like to wear that. Yeah, but I don't know why. I feel like was your hair kind of short and you would flip it out? That's how I love wearing my hair. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I guess I don't realize how similar we actually are until I, think about you in my age.
Karen Gebrower is the one that, or many people at church always say, I'll do something like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They'll like, oh my gosh, you remind me of Kandace right there.
Oh yeah, no, people tell me all the time.
And I'm like, really? Oh.
Donna Moss, she constantly is like, oh, you look just like your mother. I'm like, yes, I do. Yeah. Even the skinny eyebrows.
No, I want you to grow them back.
Yours are actually thicker than mine, which is crazy.
I warned you.
Yeah.
Don't pluck your eyebrows.
I like it. I like the 90s look. And if I don't like it one day and I want bushy eyebrows, and I'll just
paint them in.
I'll just glue them on.
Yeah. I like that you wear less makeup now.
I don't have any makeup on.
Yeah. I mean, you used to do it, everything.
I was on the phone with Jessica on FaceTime when I was getting ready to perform at the rodeo. And she was like, are you going to put makeup on? And I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm just going to, I have my lashes on. I'm going to do my lips, maybe some blush. And she's like, girl, you need to put makeup on. And I was like, what the heck? So just putting on the makeup, I just didn't even like the way it felt. I'm just like, ugh, I'm going to sweat and it's going to crease and I'm going to.
Yeah.
So, which I did. And I did sweat and crease. But yeah, thank you, because I actually feel good in my skin.
Mhm.
You know, I used to break out a lot, but
Right.
Right.
Remember?
You did? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
it's weird. I just never used to take care of my skin, and now that I do, it makes me not want to wear makeup. Feels really good.
Mhm.
My skin feels like it could breathe, and I don't
Yeah.
feel like I'm like always in the mirror, you know, like I was with the contour. And then you would say like, your lines are really, you need to blend. I'm like, it's fine. And then I look pictures 20 years later, and there's like, you know, 2 pencil marks. Yeah.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to share?
I don't know. I just came
Yeah.
a free script today. I didn't come with anything on
I
my
love
mind.
I love
Just
a free script.
like whatever the Lord wanted to drop into our lap is
Yeah.
what we would talk about.
Yeah.
And then that's all. I
Okay.
don't know.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
Finally,
Of course.
as you say.
I know. I thought I was going to be in the first episode. No, I'm kidding.
You're not kidding.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
And just being here and being my mom. And yeah, that was really enjoyable.
Thank you.
I thought we were going to fight the whole time.
We can try a little fight right now.
I don't think we're in the mood. Let's not spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. Well, that is a wrap today. I just want to thank my mom for being here and just being a part of my journey, because you birthed me into this crazy world. God willing, He chose us together.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
And times might still get a little rough in the future, but
Might
we
be
know
tomorrow.
where we're going. We're out of here.
We're out of here.
We're out of here.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be in a rush. So whenever you're ready, Lord, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I really hope that you and your sister can have the joy of and be married, and
yeah,
it's pretty awesome. But I just think God's doing amazing work in your life.
Yeah. It's weird. I used to be in such a rush, and now I'm just, Jesus is my husband.
Yeah.
And I'm not really in a rush, even though it would be so wonderful to
have your own house.
Thank you. I was going to say have a husband, but also my own house. Yes.
You should build a house on the property.
I know. I was just thinking that. Maybe like a small little casita. Just a little
cottage.
You don't like the word casita?
No, because we're not doing Spanish. We're doing old world European, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
We can call it that.
Yeah.
A what? A cottage?
So I can
cottage cheese.
We can
house?
build you a lavender farmhouse or something. I don't know.
Lavender farmhouse. Okay, let's talk about it.
With tall ceilings and
yeah, if it's tall but it's small, it'll look big.
I think our house is probably going to be too big, but
well, you wanted a 6,000 square foot home, and then you downsized.
I did,
and then you downsized, and then you downsized, which is still like 3 times as big as our old home. But
I always wanted to live in a big house. But it's very simple and linear, and
well, you have to clean it too. You know that, right?
Well, I wanted it big enough so all the animals could come in. The horses or the cows can come up to the Dutch door and pop in for a carrot or something.
Really?
Yeah, like what do they call me when I'm done? Jagabor.
So you're not going to care if they poop in the house or if they break something. You're not going to mind. You just want them to come in and just be like,
no, but so that is a joke. But a lady in Orchid does sell mini
horses, goats,
tiny cows, maybe.
Like Highland cows?
Highland, like little Highland.
Yeah.
And they're called house cows.
I love them.
House cows. So I think maybe you could train them to poop out there. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. We have to get a small Highland cow. They're expensive, but
You
they're
have to,
cute.
yeah, you have to order them from her.
Okay. You know this
All
lady?
right. No, but I can find out.
Okay.
Somebody told me about her.
Okay, cool. All right. Well,
Anyway, okay. That was fun.
yeah, thank you. Love you so much.
I love you so much, too.
I love you so much. You're the best.
You're the best, too.
Oh, thank you. And I'm your favorite child? I thought you said you didn't have favorites.
I know. Well, in Hawaii, I told Lauren he was my favorite all week long.
It just depends on who you're with. You tell them that they're your favorite.
Yeah.
When we're all together, you say, I don't have favorites. And they're like, well, you told me last week.
Remember I gave you all a Christmas ornament?
Yeah, you are my favorite.
All of you got the same one.
Mm-hmm.
And you all opened it up. And you're like, oh, and then all of you had the same
And then
one.
we're like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us today on the JCON podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a minute to say thank you again to this beautiful region here in San Luis Obispo. If you guys are planning an event or a party, a wedding, anything that you're planning, and you are in the San Luis Obispo area, the San Luis Obispo area, then I will leave all the information in the description below. And we're so grateful to be able to film here. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 8 with me and my beautiful mother. And yeah, we are so grateful to have you guys come along this journey of me and Jesus just figuring out life together.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys. Thank you, Mom. And we love you, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
That's good.
Good.
Cool. Yeah.